During our live stream today, intraday, right, we actually had some very awesome suggestions regarding some tickers that may have some upside to look at for the immediate short term, and there absolutely is a pretty nice opportunity coming in for a few tickers. Let's go ahead and go over those now. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with a multiple tickers thread of analysis on actually geometrics, raw price action, and technicals, right? So before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right into the chart, right? So I believe the user was actually John Doe Smith, I think was. Man, thank you so much for participating and allowing the members to see your awesome plays. So this is right now, guys, what I am personally seeing based on the tickers that he was mentioning, right? So this is ticker symbol SKYH. Okay, so I have four tickers here. Actually, four tickers here. Of course, I'm looking at the SQQQ because it's currently oversold, and there could be a market pullback, which means that the SQQQ inversed ProShares ETF could actually make an upside. Okay, you guys. So, and then below this, these are the four tickers that I'm going to be looking at for the watch list. Not maybe tomorrow, but also potentially Friday. Okay, but this is particular. This watch list here, these four are particular for tomorrow. Okay, so let's go ahead and review a couple of these now. Take a look at SKYH right here, you guys. 4-hour time frame is looking massive. First of all, we do have right over here a falling wedge, and it is absolutely in the process of breaking out, right? So let's go ahead and just kind of try to meet these things right as close as we can, right? So this has an upside target if we're looking at it in a psychological perspective, through a psychological perspective, right? So from the top side of the breakout, which would be this candle here, the price objective would actually lead to around $5.80. We're at $5.18 presently. Okay, you guys, so now let's pull up the moving averages to see if we have anything upside of this. Okay, you guys, so yeah, definitely we have that SMA 100 located at about 559, and that SMA 100 at 559. Let's just go ahead and draw a line there so you can see just the high relevance behind that target. Let's get rid of the averages and take a look at all these candles right over here. This area that is being suggested is absolutely relevant. So now that naturally gives us a resistance range, right? So let's go ahead and just kind of put it down just like this, and this would mark off the area of resistance that we're looking for, right? So one more thing we can do is validate it with geometrics. Let's go ahead and take into account the overall range high, which is right above here, right? So you can also see it with the H value from the OHLC on top here, and when we're hovering over that candle, you can see that 535 is the top area, right? So from that swing high to the swing low, we can take a Fibonacci sequence to see if we have any targets kind of matching the areas that we're looking for, right? In fact, we do. We very, very much do. Take a look at the 1.272 at 555. We have that 559 suggestion based on the moving averages of the SMA 100 on the 4-hour. Also notice the $5.80 zone matching directly with that 579 of the psychological price objective. Sorry. Right, so now we have geometrics kind of meeting psychology here, and the price action is suggesting that as well. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some physics, right? So now let's go ahead and see the momentum versus volatility indicators, right? So this is volatility represented by BBWP. This is stochastic momentum represented by stochastic or StochMo, right, you guys? So please notice that this is a critical thing for me to meet for my trading style, okay? As I tend to play a little bit of a higher term time frame, not so much of the minute candles or 3-minute or 5-minute. Nothing against it at all. I'm just saying that I trade a little better within the hourly and the 4-hour candles, right? So, yeah, please go ahead and notice that we have that criteria that I very much require. I do need an upside pivot on that 4-hour time frame. I do need increasing volatility as well. So now notice that the MACD is actually starting to make that cross above the MACD signal line, and we actually have a bullish cross with a definite moonshot here on that RSI. Everything is looking very good thus thus far. Okay, so now what we want to see is that the 6-hour time frame has an upside pivot too. We want to see the 8-hour time frame with an upside and the 12, hopefully the 12 and the daily, right? But those are usually the later ones as we're cascading from the shorter time frame. So let's see, 4-hour, 6-hour time frame upside. Let's see. Come on, load up. Let's do it. We're facing some internet issues, right? So there we go. Good. We definitely have that upside on the 6-hour. Let's look at the 8-hour time frame, upside on the 8-hour as well. MACD and RSI too. Look at this 12-hour time frame upside pivot, critical volatility, crossing above the SMA 14 and making our first green bar on the MACD on the 12-hour. Very likely this can continue to the upside. So let's look at a quick little loading zone here to see if the 30-minute time frame may show us an opportunity to get long this ticker, right? In fact, it is not showing us. Let's go to the micro time frames to see if anything could serve. Nope, not there either. Okay, so when this happens, you guys, we have to look for a potential retracement based on, based on a relevant resistance. So in this case, we do have a heavy resistance in the range. It is kind of a range, right? Definitely it is. So let me go ahead and just put it down like this, right? So just like this is the area of support that I'm looking for. So of resistance. So 529 to 524, highly likely to pull back and then test either moving averages or another relevant area of support. So let me just go ahead and pull up the moving averages and see. Yeah, my goodness. All right, so very likely we can actually face the golden pocket, right? And that would be incredibly bullish for this asset. We already have the validation for the newly converted resistance into support here. So let's go ahead and take a look at this potential here. So definitely the NOT 618 at 507 meeting that EMA 55 perfectly, right? So I'm thinking that we can reach as low. I mean, it could reach all the way down to 496, but I'm kind of favoring 498 where the 0.5 fib is located, right? Which is right over here. And this essentially between the NOT 382 and the NOT 618 is the golden pocket, okay, you guys? So highly likely for us to face that resistance, pull back, reload, and then continue on to the upside, thus meeting the targets of 559 to 580. Let's go ahead and take a look at ticker symbol CNNA and see what that has in line for us, okay, you guys? So CNNA making a downside here on the 4-hour time frame. I do have to point out a couple things here, though, okay? So this is a potential bear trap, okay? So the reason why I'm saying bear trap is because we're critically oversold with an upside pivot on the 4-hour. The contraction is literally contracting right now. Volatility is contracting right now, and we are in the process of building a falling wedge, okay? But within that falling wedge, I want you to notice something else, okay? Please go ahead and notice here. I'm just going to make these inverse, right? So this right here, shoulder, right? And right on the other side here, command, man, come on. There we go. This is the head, and you have your other shoulder right here. Okay, so that has a psychological target to look at. This is the neckline for that head and shoulders formation, right? So if we're going to be trading a herpy-derpy, then we can go ahead and take into consideration a trend line from the top side of the head all the way to the bottom side of that zone, right? So in fact, it could be even like this, right? So yeah, that's it. And then we can apply that trend line to the bottom and or to the neckline of the right-hand shoulder, right? So applying it there, that would actually take us to a target of about 2019. Very relevant target too. It actually matches pretty well, which is another reason why this could be some type of bear trap, right? So let's go ahead and take into consideration the range that this has, right? Just like this, right? That whole chop zone here, this resistance here, and many, many other iterations to where we have faced that area of resistance and or support, right? So this is why I'm saying that it could be a bear trap, okay? The bears are certainly thinking, you know what, let's go ahead and start the short right at this resistance level, which is honestly part of the part of the head and shoulders, right? Get that validation, continue on to the downside, and potentially cover on the way down. The bulls are building a falling wedge here, okay? And we're critically oversold, right? So I'm not saying that there isn't a chance to where we can actually go all the way down here, but I want you to just keep an eye on it, because usually when we have the upside pivot on stochastics and contracting volatility, that's kind of presents an upside potential. Let's look at the 6-hour stochastic momentum, see if we have anything there, right? So I would be very careful with what's happening here, you guys. Okay, so we have an upside pivot on stochastics and contracting on the 6 hour as well. Okay, so let's look at the 8 hour time frame. 8 hour time frame upside pivot too. We have contracting volatility. All that, guys, all of it is actually suggesting a potential bear trap. And if that's going to be the case, guys, then we could be looking at two targets. The first of which could be at about 126, and the second could be at that 186 level, right? So now let me look at the 30-minute time frame to see if there's anything of an opportunity to potentially get long. And in fact, there is. And if I were to be very, very honest, that zone of entry could actually be very immediate. And it's actually, oh man, you know what? I'm going to favor this side right here as the potential get long zone, right? So this right over here, just like this, right? This could be the range between the targets of 2 zeros and 3 and 2 zeros and 3 7, right? So that could be a potential loading zone. And one of the other zones that I am looking at, I'm not sure that we can actually make it all the way to that low, right? But it would be in respects to this support range, right? So anywhere between the zones of, let's see, 28 to 29. Okay, so that would be the area to get long right here to potentially see a continuation to the upside, right? First target to notice is 2094. Second set of bulls is actually 0126, and then the top side, of course, is that 0186 based on this falling wedge, right? So remember, on the 4 hour time frame, we're already looking at that high potential of this being realized soon enough, right? Because we already have the apex to the triangle. We already have every single touch that we needed for resistance and to support to validate that formation. And then now all is needed is an upside. Please do not take lightly that the bears can actually take control, because we do have the 4 hour bearish engulfing here and the 6 hour. Okay, so this is why we practice with risk management. Okay, you guys, we tend to kind of identify the upcoming opportunities and react as such. Okay, you guys, so now the next ticker we're looking at is ticker symbol GREE, and although this ticker is already critically over expanded, the indicators are not. Right, so psychologically speaking, there could be an opportunity for a continuation to the upside here. Please, first of all, notice on the 4 hour time frame, my condition. The condition that I'm always looking for is the upside on momentum versus volatility at critical. So let's see what we have. Critical volatility, upside pivot on the 4 hour. Right, very likely for this to start bleeding into the other time frame. 6 hour upside momentum, entering critical volatility. Let's see the 8 hour time frame, very likely upside too. Yep, we got that upside and very close to the critical volatility zone. So now, of course, we got to look at the 30-minute time frame to see if there could be anything in line for the asset, right? So ticker symbol GREE made its run today. Huge upside, right? So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with this, right? But there is some type of news here. Actually, that's May 15th, so it's not relevant to now. Okay, so yeah, 30-minute time frame is actually suggesting a little bit of a downside here on the EMA 3. So we could be looking at a loading zone already, right? So I want you to notice that this is a trading range, right, for the immediate short term. So this is a very discretionary way of doing things, but it's absolutely the way we have to look at them. Okay, so I would say that we could be gaining, we could actually get long the market here at about... yeah, I would say 211 to 225 are two areas to kind of look at, and even within this area, right? So what I do have to mention, though, is that if we do start failing 30-minute candles or hourly candles beneath 211, that would be an invalidation of this entire upside, right? So we have to take that into account as well. But now the upside targets, we do have some pretty obvious ones to kind of look at, right? First of all, we do have this range right over here, 265 to about that top side, where the candles open and close at about 270. So that's the, you know, that's a target area there too. Okay, so now in respects to the upper time frame, targets, you can actually take a look at a fib from this zone right over here, right? So we can see that we have the 2.618 at 257, very close to that 264 bottom of this target that we're looking for, right? And then the obvious target, the most obvious one, would actually be at this target here. Please notice that the candle on the H right up here is suggesting a top side of about 314, and look at the 4.618, 314, perfectly right on the money. Okay, you guys, so that naturally gives me a range of resistance as well, even though that target is rhyming perfectly to the geometrics, right? So these would be the targets that I would be looking at personally. What does that measure exactly? Well, if we were to get long the market from this zone here to this first bottom side, you're looking at a potential 17 to 18% move to the upside, 20% to that upside of the first range, right? And now looking at this potential here, you can see a clear 34% to about a 40% move to the upside. Guys, this is looking pretty nice. I really have to express warning to my beginner traders that these are strategic, and we must watch out. Okay, you guys, so that's essentially the target that I'm looking at for that ticker. Okay, you guys, now the last one that we're looking at is ticker symbol ORCL for Oracle, right? You guys, this is another really nice opportunity coming in. So jumping onto the 4-hour time frame, we can actually see that we have a recorrecting pivot. This pivot is literally corrective, right? We now have an upside on that stochastic momentum. Please notice that upside of the moving average is the green candle, suggesting a continuation to the upside. And now looking at relative volume, right, the RVol, we're actually noticing here on the 4-hour that we have clear indications that the market is trending towards the bulls, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at a few other metrics, right? So what we want to see is a potential continuation to the upside here on the 6-hour time frame on stochastics, right? So 6-hour time frame, we have that upside pivot, critical volatility, just like we always needed, right? 8-hour time frame, we are starting to correct. We're within the gravitational zone of the stochastic momentum's bullish control zone and that critical volatility. Highly likely this is going to continue to the upside, you guys, and it could be for several hours, or in fact we can get an impulsive move or a pitch to the upside before facing some type of resistance, right, or relevant resistance. So let's go ahead and take a look at any potential opportunities for this. I would really have to favor this right here, but it is kind of a range, and I would really hate to see if we're failing candles beneath this zone. Okay, particular to the EMA 55 and the lower end of this hourly candle here, right? So that would be marking off the first zone, and then to the top side of this candle right over here, right? So that would be anywhere between 119.55 to 120.33 as a potential area that we can face as a support, but that is honestly the lowest area that I can see this going, and it is also an invalidation zone. So closing candles, hourly candles beneath this area here can suggest for the price action to continue on to the downside, and it'll slide down to around 117. Yeah, the range of about 117 to 116.49. So keep a close eye on this, right? So a lot of people tend to play options within these types of assets, right? So we definitely know that Oracle follows the broader markets, right? So it follows the S&P, it follows the Nasdaq. So keep an eye on those tickers too, because we just got the notification from the Fed saying that they will pause rate hikes. So the markets are likely to start getting bullish after a short-term pullback. Okay, you guys. So this is essentially that loading zone that I'm looking at. Also an invalidation area. The more obvious targets to kind of look at would actually be the present highs, which is at about 122.57. So let's measure that real quick. Okay, so you're looking at about almost, I would say just about a 2% move to the upside from this area here, and then the top side target I would honestly favor at about 123, marking an almost 3% move to the upside. The way you can look at this too is that this is a multiple dollar move to the upside, meaning that if you did have long calls on this from this zone of support, then you could actually get some really nice delta here for every dollar increment that you increase, right? So also low implied volatility means that you can actually get whatever the implied volatility value is, whether it's 30 cents or 50 cents, whatever it is. So that's going to be every percent up of implied volatility. Yeah, every percent up of implied volatility, you're going to be getting that pump to your IV, right? So this could actually force some shorts out of the way and some sellers out of the way, okay, you guys? So the calls could be a very nice option to kind of look at within this target here, 120.33 to 119.55. Very nice opportunities coming in. Of course, there are still further upsides to kind of keep into consideration here, but we're not talking about that, guys. We want to go ahead and just lock in our gains real quick and get out, right? So yeah, that's essentially what I'm looking at. You guys, please notice here the hourly RSI is about to face that support from the SMA 14 by hourly time frame. Could very well be that support touch. Let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick before we end off this analysis here, okay, you guys? So actually, no, it's the hourly time frame. We're pretty much at that support. This can actually find support from the SMA 14 and then bounce to the upside. So let's keep an eye on the markets tomorrow, you guys. But I hope this actually helped some of you guys, right? Of course, I am encouraging paper trading, not actual live cash trading, okay, you guys? But please remember, first and foremost, that I am not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your due diligence and everything will be cool. All right, you guys? But with that said, I wish you well, a very, very good night. You got the watch list, and I'll catch you at the bell literally mañana. Adios.